All right, the weather is warming up outside, and you know what that means. From now until at least mid-June, baby animals are going to be popping up all over the area. The Iowa DNR says this time of year, their offices become inundated with hundreds of phone calls about orphaned wildlife. From baby robins to squirrels or fawns and raccoons, biologists have seen it all when it comes to so-called rescued animals. But the reality is most of the wildlife that's reported to the DNR aren't orphans at all. And when people try to rescue these babies, it often leads to the animal's death. Here to talk about why you should leave those baby animals alone is Iowa DNR Wildlife Diversity Program Coordinator, Karen Kincaid. Karen, thank you so much for being here with us. Why don't we start with what happens to these babies that are rescued from the wild by well-intended humans?
Well, the first thing that can happen is the stress level of those animals just goes way up. If you imagine something the size of a building or a dinosaur, or something you've never seen before, and you don't understand their language, and they pick you up off the ground, that's a lot of stress being introduced into your system. And then a lot of these babies have very special dietary needs or special thermal needs, and it's very hard sometimes to meet all of those. The mothers of those animals really know what's best for those species.
You know, people might say I was out walking and I saw this baby and it was all by itself and there was no mom anywhere near to it, but it might be normal to see babies out in the wild without their moms, right?
It is absolutely normal. Many of the mothers, when they give birth, they're inside their own territories. They know that area very well, and they'll leave their young in an area where they feel safe, and their young, they expect their young will be hidden, and they might go off and take a quick nap or get something to eat, but they're nearby. We just don't see them. But those mothers, most of the time, are right nearby.
So what if we see a baby animal and it looks helpless or clumsy or vulnerable?
They are so good at looking helpless or clumsy or vulnerable. That's what makes them so cute. You know, even when they reach what we might think of as the teenage phase, they'll still beg for food from their parents, just looking very helpless, but they really aren't. They're much further along than a human infant would be.
So how do we know the difference between a baby animal that should be left alone versus one that really might genuinely need rehabilitation?
So obviously, if you see blood or a broken bone, or there is an adult nearby that is dead or injured, that is a very clear sign that the animal needs to be taken to a wildlife rehabilitator. But the other thing that's so great about cell phones, you know, we hear a lot about cell phones are bad, but most cell phones have cameras on them. And if you're really questioning whether this animal needs care or not, you could take a quick picture and send it to someone, a wildlife rehabilitator or the DNR or your county conservation board, and ask for a second opinion before you pick it up.
Well, Karen, I was going to ask you, speaking of reaching out to the DNR, how many phone calls or even like animal drop-offs do you guys see during this time of year?
That is a great question because we have offices all over the state, and I don't have a firm number statewide, but we definitely get so many phone calls. We get requests through the internet and social media, and then the phone calls. Yeah, that's why we do this campaign every year to teach people that these animals, they're so cute. Always take a picture. Those are great just to have for your own, you know, your own memory of how cute these things are.
Such a good message. Take pictures, but not the babies themselves. Karen, thank you so much for joining us here today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you guys at home want to share this story or check out a list of Iowa-based wildlife rehabilitation centers, you can head over to our website and click on the As Seen on TV